I did my deck chair video, and in it I used this here, and it seems to have gotten just as much attention as the deck chair itself. So I thought I would make a quick video showing how I made it. Now, first thing I'll go through is the material I need. Not much. I'm using, since I've already got one and I really don't need another one, I'm just going to quickly make this. I'm using a piece of 3/8 inch plywood. It's actually a piece that I got from my house that I was going to burn, but I kept it, you know, because plywood's good for lots of different things, including making something that you don't really need. So I've got that. I've also got a strip of 1 inch wide deck board here. This is pressure treated, but any old wood will work, and that's for the arm of the fence on the thing. I've also got a small block of plywood here for the knob. I've got my homemade protractor. There's an article on this on my website on how I made that. You can also use one of those cheap plastic protractors that you get with a geometry set. I got my beam compass to draw the circle and just various hardware to put it together. First thing I'm going to do is take the plywood and rip it down to a smaller size. That gives me a clean edge to work off of. Next, I'm going to make a mark in the middle about 3/4 of an inch from the edge. Then I'm going to set my beam compass to 9 inches and use that to draw the half circle. Next, I adjust my beam compass to draw an arc that's 1.5 inches less than the outside circle. Then I can readjust it again to 3/8 of an inch less than that, and that will give me the size of my slot. Now I brought it over to my bandsaw to cut it out. Then I'm going to use my disc sander to sand it to the line. At the drill press, I'm going to drill a 3/16 inch hole for the pivot screw, and then a 3/8 inch hole at the end of the slot on each end. Then I can use the jigsaw to cut the rest of the slot. Now that the slot is cut, I'll sand the whole surface, making it easier to mark the scale on. Next, I'll cut the fence to 16 inches long and rip it down to 3/4 inch thick. It's already 1 inch wide. Now I'm just going to use a 3/8 inch washer to draw the end half round and mark the center of the pivot point. At the disc sander, I'll round over the end, and then back at the drill press, I'll drill a 1/8 inch pilot hole through it. Now I can temporarily put the two together and mark where in the fence I need to drill a hole for the locking knob. Now I'm going to drill a 5/16 inch hole through the fence and press a T-knot into it from the bottom. Now I can assemble it by driving the screw in. My screw's a little long and sticks out the bottom, so I'm just going to grind the tip off. Next, I can get started on the knob, and I'm going to use my compact compass to draw a 2-inch circle on that piece of plywood. Then I can cut that out roughly on the bandsaw, and then finish the shaping on the disc sander. To lock the bolt into the knob and keep it from turning, I'm grinding the sides of the head flat. Now I can make a 1/4 inch hole in the center of the knob. Now I'm going to take the bolt and drive it into the knob. I'll put a little glue on there just for good measure. Now I'll just get a washer and a nut to hold it in place. To finish it up, I'm going to glue the pointer in place on the fence and keep it just about 1/32 of an inch away from the curve. Well, that's it for building it. To lay out the scale on the unit itself, I'm using my protractor. I'm starting at 90, and I've set the fence on the back here so that it's 90 degrees to this edge right here, and I measure that with my protractor. You can see that. What I'll do is tighten the knob and make a mark right here, a longer mark for the hole numbers. And in this case it'll be 90 degrees. And then I'll readjust to, say, 95 degrees, make a shorter mark. Then I'll go to 100 degrees, make a longer mark, and so on right around the circle until I get from one end to the other. Now I'm using my other one as an example here because I haven't got the scale marked out on this one yet. But after I get the 5-degree segments marked out, I can infill the 1 degree spaces in between by cutting a piece of wood. This is what I did in this case, that exactly equals the space divided by 5. And I did that by trial and error. Mostly I would cut the piece thin, try it by marking out the lines. Then if it's too fat, I cut a little bit off. If it was too thin, I would cut a new piece until I got it very close. Now, like I said in the website article, this is not, man on the moon type precision. It's very close though, and it certainly is close enough for the type of projects that I'll be making with it. If you really want to, you can make the scale as accurate as you need to have it. It's really not a problem. Also, if you want to take the time, you can go to the site where I downloaded the paper template for this one right here and resize it up to fit right on this thing here, and then print it off, say in 2 sheets, and glue it on, and that will give you the pre-made scale. And that's probably the better way to go. It's just my experience with that kind of thing is it seems to take longer to do that than to actually mark it out. By the time I print off several sheets that are wrong and resize and try and all that, I could have had it all marked out like I did with this one. So I think this took maybe 15 minutes to mark out fully. Anyway, that's it. I hope you liked it, and thanks for watching. For more tips, tricks, and mini projects, visit my website, ibuildit.ca.